Welcome. This video is going to cover the basics of document structuring in HTML. The first thing you need to know is that certain elements will create a new line in a document, and these are referred to as block elements. For instance, a bulleted list, which is done with UL, is going to be a block element, as is an individual bullet in that list, or an LI. Each of these starts on a new line. However, if, for instance, I wanted to bold something, that would be an inline element, meaning it does not start a new line. Images are also inline in HTML, but most everything else is going to be kind of common sense as to whether it's block or inline. So block elements include bulleted lists and numbered lists, paragraphs, sections, headers, and things like that. Inline elements include hyperlinks, any kind of emphasis like bolding or italics, images, and several other kinds of elements. Elements also do what is called nesting to create a tree of elements. And that is what you see right here with the bulleted list. The tree of elements is just a metaphor for a way to better understand nesting. And it's not actually based around a physical tree, but around a family tree. So there are parent elements, which is the element containing any child elements. There can also be grandchildren and great-grandchildren and so on. So these LIs right here, because they are inside this UL, are considered children elements for the UL. The UL is the parent. These LIs are also considered siblings with each other because they are both inside of the UL. Let's look at the tree of elements with the example of a basic document, and that will also allow you to learn how to set up an initial document in HTML. So all HTML documents start with what is referred to as a doc type declaration, or DTD. Doc type declarations before HTML5 were much more complicated, but in HTML5 they introduced a simplified doc type declaration, which is simply this right here. This is the only tag that you will see that looks pretty significantly different from all the other tags, and it's simply a bracket, exclamation point, all caps, doc type, space, HTML. And this tells browsers to recognize the fact that this is an HTML-based document. From there, you need to set up HTML tags around the entire document, except for that doc type declaration, which goes above them. Within the HTML tags, you have two children tags, the head and the body. These tags indicate different areas of your HTML document. The head is not actually displayed in the browser window, so anything that you put in the head is going to be information about the document. So one of the most common things is metadata, including things like information for search engines, or connecting to style sheets, or importing fonts, or things like that. The body area is what displays in the actual window of the browser, so this is where all of your content is going to go. So I'm going to add the very basic things that you might add in here, such as a paragraph, a section header, and an image. And this gives us the basic document structure of a simple HTML document. Everything else is a matter of filling in from there. As you can see, we have parent is the HTML, a child of head and a child of body, and then a paragraph, which is a child of body, and an H1, which is also a child of body, and an image, which is also a child of body. The paragraph, the H1, and the image are all siblings with each other. One other thing that you can see here is that the application I'm using has automatically indented these according to their level in the hierarchy of the tree of elements. So you see that HTML is on the far left margin, and then body and head are on this line, and then one indented from there are paragraph H1 and image. So all siblings of each other should be on the same indentation. And what this does is this allows for your code to be very human readable. Somebody can browse through your code and locate things and read and parse out what's happening with your code. This is really, really important when you're learning to write code, is that you learn to write it not just so that the computer can recognize it, but so that other human beings can recognize it. And that also makes it easier for you to work with when you need to find something in hundreds of lines of code. Having it be human readable makes a huge difference. One final thing that you should consider with human readability here is adding comments. And comments are added by doing a left bracket, exclamation point, hyphen, hyphen, adding the comma, comment, then hyphen, hyphen, and a right bracket. That will display as a comment, which means that it shows only in the code and nowhere else. This is really useful for when you're organizing your code and you're trying to say to yourself or to other people, here's what's going on with this particular section, here's how I've organized this thing, and so on. So you should consider adding comments as you're creating your structure to help with organizing it for yourself and for other people. That covers everything with basic document structure. The next video will cover how to mark up text, images, and hyperlinks. Thanks for watching.